Welcome, Master of Chaldea, to the very first episode of Chaldea Guidebook, a series where we'll be discussing how to make the most out of each servant. The servant featured today is Spartacus, the greatest husbando in all of FGO. This dude is simply amazing. He has been freeing us from the oppression of farming since day one. Spartacus is a farming powerhouse, and an essential character even for whales. His role is mainly that of a secondary farming DPS, which means he specializes in clearing the first or second waves of a node. But depending on your comp, he can flex as a main farming DPS and clear the final wave. Flexing, after all, is his specialty. Spartacus has two relevant skills, a 30% battery and a 40% mana burst. The mana burst is weaker than the usual 50%. But he has 12% buster up from his passive to make up for it. His Noble Phantasm, despite being upgraded, doesn't hit as hard as most other berserkers due to his low attack, but his battery gives him two huge advantages over his competition. The first one being that your team will require less total batteries from CEs and supports, and the second being that at equal batteries, Spartacus can run better CEs and outdamage his otherwise stronger competition. Speaking of competition, the only other berserkers with a battery are Chacha and Arjuna Alter, who will be coming soon to NA. Chacha is a welfare with similar damage output to Spartacus, but her battery is much weaker, so you should only use her during good events, because she gets bonus damage during those. As for Arjuna Alter, he has the same battery as Spartacus with vastly superior damage even at NP1, but he costs a whopping 13 more party cost. Don't take me wrong, Arjuna Alter is better than Spartacus, but if you're trying to slot as many event CEs or utility CEs in your party and the party cost is starting to get oppressive, you can count on Spartacus to rebel against those numbers. As for Spartacus's weaknesses, there are two things you should remember. The first one is that sometimes his damage may not be enough. But he will often still be your best option, so he is one of only two servants who I believe must absolutely be grailed for gameplay reasons. One grail is more than enough, as 1-star servants get 10 levels from their first grail, instead of the usual 5. Spartacus's second weakness isn't as easily circumvented, and is his one real flaw: he cannot buff his allies. I know this is asking too much of a 1-star servant, but sometimes my main DPS needs just that extra push, and Spartacus can't provide that. Now that we've discussed practicalities, let's get to technicalities. For his skills, max his battery, and bring his third skill to at least level 9. Skill 1 is negligible. For his CEs, Kaleidoscope or a max limit broken imaginary element will let him use his NP on his own, useful if you're running Scatty to buff your main DPS. Most of the time, however, you'll want a 50% battery CE, which you'll complement with Merlin or Waver. The good ones are on screen, because they give relevant buffs and draw attack. You'll also want to use these alongside Merlin if Spartacus is your primary DPS. I love discussing gameplay, so leave your comments below about what you think of Spartacus, and I really don't know who to do next, so please tell me who you'd like to see next. And if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Seriously, like 5% or so of my viewers are subscribed. That's sad.